Every single disappointment that you've ever had in your entire life comes from a failed sale. To some degree, your marketing sucked and you failed to close. Doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter if it's intangible, tangible. Doesn't matter if it's fucking alchemy, non-alchemy. Doesn't matter what the fuck it is. Every disappointment in life comes from a failed sale of some sort. And if you're familiar with my work, you know that I'm a huge proponent and advocate for gratifying your whims. I think instant gratification is actually a very good thing for men because it puts you in that sort of predatorial mindset. You're not prey, you're not lurking in the shrubbery. You know what I mean? Your chest is out and you have the opportunity to advocate for yourself. If you can't advocate for yourself on small, minute impulses that you have, good luck. Good luck taking down the big kills. Because everything's a microcosm. And the tiniest things that you do are obviously a fractal of what the larger picture is. I'm going to give you an example of something that just happened to me, which I found to be a very interesting adventure. I was at a world-class hotel with my girl recently. And it was 10 o'clock at night. And I wanted a fucking omelet. Wanted an omelet loaded with bacon and meat and a bunch of shit. And I wanted it. And I knew there was 0% chance I was going to back down on getting this done. So I fire out a text message to the concierge line. And I'm like, yo, I want a fully loaded omelet. Send it up to the villa. Boom. Knew for a fact I was going to get some fucking scripted, rote, mechanical response telling me, nah, we can't do that. So, of course, I get the teleprompter. Sorry, sir, breakfast is not served. It's too late, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm in the hot tub with my girl, and I turn to her, and I'm like, they don't understand. I was like, I'm not. There's no way this omelet's not getting delivered to me right now because I want it. There's no way. She's like, what are you going to do? I was like, I'll tell you exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to strap on my fucking sable robe and I'm going to fucking throw on some fucking slippers and I'm going to twist my whip down the mountain and I'm going to waltz right into that lobby and I'm going to get them to fucking cook up this omelet. And I'm going to make a spectacle out of it, by the way, because you got to understand, when I sent that text message, I landed a glancing blow. I knew it wasn't going to be a knockout punch, but I also love the idea of utilizing rejection to sort of build up a little bonfire. You know what I mean? It's very personal to me. I'm a gamer. I'm a gamer in my blood. I love the game. I love it. So if someone says no, because you got to understand, when they're telling me they can't make the omelet, all I hear is that there's a difference in perception here. Logistically, I know how easy it is to crack open some whole eggs and throw it on a fucking skillet. I know logistically this isn't a problem. This is a perception problem, right? It's dusk. It's nightfall. So there's a mechanical ablation here that's preventing me from getting what I want simply because the clock is ticked in a certain direction. Now, I know it's a perception problem. And I also know another thing. I know if I go down there in the robe and slippers, because the restaurant was buzzing, by the way. It's like a 5-star restaurant. So motherfuckers were in there in slacks, suit and tie, 3-piece suits. I wanted to go in there disadvantaged and handicapped just to prove to myself that I could get this done, right? Because it's personal. And if you can't get small things like this done and you are readily taking no for an answer, you're never going to get the big kills. It's just not going to happen for you. So I throw on this fucking robe. Looks like I'm wearing a fucking bearskin. Literally a fucking black bearskin. Throw on those furry little fucking slippers. Strap up. I get down there. I'm on a fucking mission. I walk into the lobby, I'm immediately deploying every fucking cavalry I can find in my vicinity to help me fucking track down the GM. Hostess, I point at her. I'm like, hey, I need you to find the GM. Boom. I'm recruiting servers. I'm recruiting bus boys. Everyone's crisscrossing. Everyone in the restaurant is crisscrossing, trying to find this guy, track him down. I've got a fucking search party. Literally fucking rallying a search party. Standing there in a fucking bearskin. Wild-eyed. I have to get this done. I just have to because I love the game, and the only satisfaction I get is from winning. Don't care how small, don't care how petty, it all starts from there. That's the focal point. So GM pops out, comes over to me. He's like, what can I do for you? Put my hand on his shoulder, look at him deadpan, right in his fucking pupils. And I said, brother, and understand tone is everything, right? Inflection in your voice, the way you're doing things, the aura. The aura, you can get away with bloody murder if the aura is congruent. Understand that too. There's no faux pas. You know what I mean? Like it's very hard to have a faux pas if your fucking aura is correct. You can pretty much say whatever the fuck you want. So I looked at this man in the eyes and I said, hey brother, I said, I am not leaving this lobby until we get 2 fully loaded omelets sent up to the villa. Now let me explain something to you. Service workers, most of those shifts are incredibly dull and boring. Incredibly dull and boring. These motherfuckers are bored. They don't get oddballs coming in asking for off the wall orders, right? Everything for the most part, people are going to be constricted to the menu. It's a relatively simple, sort of smooth process, even for a GM in a restaurant setting. So I know I'm coming in and I'm bringing a little thunder to the situation. Like I'm going to get this guy excited because I'm going to create like a mini adventure for him. This motherfucker's bored. It's 10 o'clock at night. He's running fucking wines. He's getting the sommelier to go to people's tables. He wants a little fucking pep in his step. You know what I mean? He wants a spark. So I'm going to light that spark and I'm going to make it enjoyable for him to get this done for me. So this dude runs back to the kitchen and he's like, let me talk to the chef. Now keep in mind, that chef had just caught wind that I had inquired over the text message and he said no. So he comes back and he's like, we will absolutely accommodate the omelet for you. We will absolutely accommodate the omelet for you. It wasn't even a question. And the way he was moving, this dude was fucking traversing the restaurant, doing high hurdles, trying to get this done for me. Because of the way I came in there and because I was staunch. You know what I mean? I was staunch. I was a bulwark. I wasn't moving until that shit got done. I wasn't moving. I was going to plant my feet firmly into the ground and get that shit done. And my overarching point is that service workers want desperately to help the right person. If you have the correct aura and you seem like someone important, and I want to emphasize, I want to put an asterisk, bold, italicize, and underline the word seem. If you seem important, motherfuckers will move mountains for you and they will enjoy it. People want to bend over backwards to help people who seem important. They want to. They want to. If you ever catch yourself, if people in customer service give you that grimace when you ask for their help, then your aura is not correct. They should never grimace. They should be delighted. Customer service workers should be delighted to help you, especially when you put them on a wild goose chase because it's unconventional. It's unorthodox. They're bored. They're bored to tears. They're watching the clock crawl. They cannot wait to get home. They're begging for someone to come in and shake some shit up. You know what I mean? So if you're a wily character, if you're a wily and woolly character and you have oddball requests, these motherfuckers will go on a mission for you. Of course they will. It passes the time. It's interesting. Oh, this guy's fucking demanding an omelet at 10 o'clock at night. When's the last time that happened? Probably never. So you want to talk about sales, right? That's what I just outlined for you is multi-million-dollar advice, by the way. And I dropped it on your head for free. It's multi-million-dollar advice because what you have to understand, it's a perception problem. It's almost never a logistical problem. The logistics are easy with shit like this. But there's a perception problem, and you have to interfere with that loop, and you have to interject yourself and intertwine yourself and enmesh yourself. You have to be a gamer. You have to love the game. You can't take no so easily. Everything is malleable. It's mushy. Life is mushy. Reality's mushy. And if you don't mind getting into the marsh and getting your fucking boots dirty, you can completely change the complexion of every game that you're playing. It's always transmutable. That's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of it. When someone tells you no, you got to come at it from a different angle. Now, obviously, it helps when you fucking waltz into a restaurant and you're fucking built like Hercules and you're 6'1". Obviously, those characteristics help. But understand this, and I tweeted this yesterday. You know how I said being a millionaire is a mental construct? It is. It's a mental construct. You cannot be a millionaire on paper until you're a millionaire in your head. It's a fact. Size is also a mental construct, right? Height is a real construct. Like you're gonna be, your genetics dictate your height, but size is a spiritual quality. You know how there's little motherfuckers, how when they're in the room, you'll be looking at a little guy, but he just has, he's spatially large. It's hard to comprehend. It's even hard to articulate, but the guy just takes up space, but he's little. That's what I'm talking about, because size is internal. That's why these roid monkey motherfuckers never win, because the size is internal. Like, your size has nothing to do with your muscle bellies. It's got nothing to do with your insertions. It's got nothing to do with your aesthetic. It's an internal self-image thing. That's how big you are. And that's why these roid heads are fucking juicing and doing all this shit, because inside they're little guys. They're tiny. They're fucking chihuahuas. Little fucking chihuahuas running around. And what happens is when you try to artificially bloat and inflate your size, what happens is you end up comparing yourself and feeling less than your smaller counterparts, which is fucking intriguing as hell, because if you really think about it, these motherfuckers that are massive, they'll look at a dude who's smaller than them and more shredded, and they'll envy him. They want to be that guy. Fucking bizarre little perturbation there, right? Can go on and on with these sort of vignettes, because there's a lot of wisdom to demystify in a lot of this shit. A lot of wisdom to demystify in a lot of these behaviors and mechanisms and shit that you see people do. Now, I love when we just fucking jump from topic to topic. I was thinking about my bio this morning. I was smoking a cigarette. And it occurred to me that Buddhism, and if you're familiar with my work, you know I've bastardized Buddhism in the past. And I was kind of laughing. I kind of chuckled to myself because I read my bio. I was like, Benjamin Franklin disrespecter. What does that mean? It means I'm disrespecting material, right? It means I'm disrespecting cash. That's what the Benjamin disrespect comes from. It means that I have a detachment from material, okay? Allows me to be reckless. Now, what occurred to me is that Buddhism is probably the apex philosophy. It's probably the apex philosophy. That sort of detachment from the flesh. I can vibe with that. But here's the catch, and I want you to pay attention to this. The catch is you cannot come full circle and arrive at any of these apex philosophies unless you travel the completely opposite road to get there. In other words, I traveled the complete opposite road of Buddhism to arrive at Buddhism. Wrap that one around your head. You know what I mean? Being a little more barbaric, being reckless has gotten me to the place where I've sustained so much loss. I've had so many Pyrrhic victories where, yeah, I won the war, but the losses were so severe that it kind of had a nullifying effect, that I'm to a point now where I have a complete detachment. I have a complete detachment. There's a very, very good book called Being and Dreaming by Florinda Donner. And she says in that book, it's the best definition of freedom that I've ever come across. I don't think you'll find a definition of freedom greater than this. She says in the book that freedom is the absolute lack of care and concern for oneself. Freedom is the absolute lack of care and concern for oneself. You can mold that one around in your head. That's a titanic ontology to kind of tackle with, to kind of wrestle with, to even lock horns with. It's sort of daunting to kind of wrap your head around that, because there's a lot of truth in it. That devil may care, that reckless abandonment of self is how you push the envelope and how you remain at the edge. There's no other way to do it. Self-preservation, ironically, the motherfuckers who self-preserve burn out the fastest. They burn out the fastest. Smoking cigarettes is a metaphor, gentlemen. It's a metaphor. You'd rather burn out than fade away. If you're a red, hot-blooded male, you would always rather burn out than fade away. Speaking of which, I've been smoking ceremonially. I've been doing it sort of at like sunrise and sunset. And it's sort of this kind of spiritual undertaking that I've been doing. Instead of just chain gunning all fucking day long like I was doing, I'm sort of making it a little bit more celebratory. And it's been beneficial. It's been definitely beneficial. By the way, speaking of sales and sort of this whole kind of like maniacal persona, do you guys understand how fucking vigilant you have to be in this society when you do go for service? Like when you go to a restaurant or you go for any kind of service, you really, really do have to be neurotic. You have to be neurotic to stand head and shoulders above the status quo right now. I mean, the shit that they're putting in the food and restaurants is seriously an abomination. It's fucking disgusting. And I just sit there in restaurants sometimes and I'm like, I'll just see people order shit that they think is healthy. And it's lacquered in fucking sauces, marinades filled with fucking sugar, fucking vegetable oils, seed oils, fried. These people are fucking cooked. When I go to a restaurant, I am neurotic. I have to fucking coach. I end up having to coach my server, the chef. Like, you have to really, really be whipping your horses to stay healthy, because they really are fucking poisoning everything. It's a fucking disgrace. Like, why the fuck does brisket or a beautiful steak need sauce on it? Like, what the fuck is the American obsession with this? Are we fucking children? Do people just feel like they need dessert? They need like these slushy, slurpy fucking sauces on all of their meat? Like, whatever happened to just eating a fucking good piece of meat, medium rare, with some fucking salt on it? Like, why do you think we have the most misshapen society we've ever seen? I look at people sometimes and I'm like, that person is so morbidly obese that, like, legitimately they cannot fit back in their frame. It doesn't matter what kind of fucking Superman weight loss program they go on. They're never going back in their frame. It's so fucking disproportionate. It's so stretched out. It's toasted. It's never coming back. And these people are just repositories. They're fucking repositories for fat cells and just fucking insulating all these fucking heavy metals and toxins in their body. It's really fucking it's unheard of. It's unheard of that as a society we've allowed this to happen. So you have to be, and again, here's the fine line. That sort of neurosis that I'm talking about, like when I go to a restaurant, I have to tell them 100 times. Seed oil allergy. Do not fucking touch my shit in seed oils. Cook it in straight butter. No marinades, no sauces, no sides. Just give me my fucking meat. Because what's crazy is, and I know a lot of you have experienced this, even when you go to a nice steakhouse and you order a steak and it's drenched in whatever the fuck they drench it in, or they baste it in butter like the way they do it, it is, you feel bloated and you feel horrifying after the meal. And you're like, I just had a steak. I didn't have anything with it. Why do I feel so horrifying? It's the fucking oils. It's the fucking oils. The bottom line at these companies, you have to understand, frying food, cooking up food in expensive, nice oil like tallow, coconut oil, shit like that, it's expensive. It's expensive. So they're opting for these industrial fucking vats of oil, and they're just fucking slushing it fucking everywhere. Pasting it on, brush stroking it on all your fucking food. And then, you know, you eat clean for such a long time and you really realize why that saying there's zero competition really exists. Because if you are vigilant and you stay on top of it, like I'm saying, you're gonna be lean as fuck. There's something very anabolic about cutting out like 95% of what the average person's eating. It's just it's fucking insane. It's completely anabolic. Eating like an ordinary meal now. Like that's how low the bar has been set. Motherfuckers are just greasing themselves with whatever the fuck people will put in front of them. It's really fucking bizarre. And so my whole point of that is like when you're neurotic and you bring the chef out and you tell him what your special needs are, having special needs is a fucking superpower in 2023. Because like I said, we live in a lull culture right now. Things are lulled. Things are sleepy. Most towns are very sleepy right now. People are sleepy. People are fucking triple vax, triple boosted. Motherfuckers are like zombies. So you come in with high energy and you start making demands and you do it in a way that's kind of fun and kind of clever. And you know what I mean? You're doing it gregariously. People enjoy making those kind of accommodations for you. You know what I mean? And to some degree, it's funny because it's at a local level. You're also bringing awareness to themselves. Like I can't tell you how many people have told me, they're like, fuck man, I've seen the way you ordered, inspired me to cut out this shit, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm just living by example. So it does have this shadow effect where it's like a ripple effect. You don't even realize how when you're neurotic and you look good, motherfuckers start paying attention. They're like, I want to do what this guy's doing. You know what I mean? It's a net positive for everybody involved. So don't be afraid to be neurotic and have neurotic requests. You know what I mean? Especially when it comes to advocating for your own health, because these institutions and these restaurants, they don't give a fuck. You'll order bone marrow and you won't realize 50% of the content volume is fucking Mazola oil. Mazola oil. The people who created Mazola oil should be brought before a tribunal and flogged and tarred and feathered in the public square and quartered. What the fuck is Mazola oil? And why is it in every fucking meat product? It's fucking insane. It's completely insane. I'm going to open up the floor. Let's, by the way, here's the fucking game changer for you. You guys know I'm a teetotaler. I do not drink. However, the last week I have been, I would say borderline drunk every day. But check this out. Organic biodynamic wine. You got to have both of them. Organic biodynamic wine is fucking God's nectar. There's no after effects. You can drink fucking bottles of this shit. You don't get a headache. You don't get hungover the next morning. Even the fucking buzz is very solid. I will tell you right now, conventional wine is disgraceful. You're drinking dead wine. There's like 75 to 80 chemicals in a bottle of conventional wine. I don't give a fuck if it's 30 G's. It's fucking rancid. They put sawdust and fillers and all sorts of weird shit in wine. The organic biodynamic boutique farms, they do a thoroughly fucking good job. The soil's living, it's biodynamic. I'm not claiming wine is healthy because I'm not one of those guys. However, I will tell you that there is a clear distinction in the way that the body responds after drinking that shit. So do yourself a favor, go get yourself some organic biodynamic wine. fuck, I've been lifting on that shit and I have no problems. Like my fucking awareness, my acuity is completely on point. And I have zero alcohol tolerance because I've never been drunk, probably until this last week. And even then it was very manageable. It led me to believe something interesting about the human spirit. It led me to I almost believe that people who get super drunk are surrendering. Like there was a moment in time when I was drinking this shit where I was like, you know what? I could see myself fight through it. Like there's sort of like this window where you get the perception that, look, I could totally go toe to toe with this force right now, and I could overcome it. Like I'm never gonna let myself be in a fucking drunken stupor. I'm not slurring my words. You know what I mean? Like that. I feel like there is a tipping point where dudes just completely give in. And I think that's my whole foray into substances in general, which I have not been that experimental, but certainly cigarettes. The wine thing is recent. For me, coffee was definitely one of them. I just enjoy the battle. I enjoy the internal battle of sort of that conflict resolution process, and just not succumbing to the impulse is what I want to say. Coffee's crazy. Like if you drink I think Voltaire was drinking 12 cups of coffee. If you're drinking coffee all day, I mean, you're literally in World War III internally. You know the feeling. You're crawling out of your skin, you're jittery, and you're just fighting for dear life not to let it fucking consume you.